Good day, it's day 15 of this video series and it's back and biceps again. This week we've got a few changes. Number one, with our macros, our carbohydrates are coming down from 0.56 per pound of body weight. Now here, what's changing with the workouts with the D2P Extreme is like last week, we would have done 10 repetitions to failure, then a second set to 10 repetitions to failure, then we'd do 10, strip the weight after a 10-second rest and do 20, and then on the fourth set, we would do 10 repetitions, rest for 10 seconds, 20, rest for 20, and rep out another 10 repetitions with the same weight. This time, what we're doing is 10 repetitions to absolute failure, same as what we normally do. Then on the second set, we do 10 repetitions to failure, strip the weight, wait for 10 seconds, and punch out another 10 repetitions. That's what we do for the first two sets. And then on the third set, we will follow the same pattern as what we did last week, 10 repetitions, strip the weight, and do 20 repetitions on this next set. Strip the weight, wait for 10 seconds, and punch out another 10 repetitions. All right, so let's get into this. This week, what we're doing is prioritizing lat movement. Even though it looks like a row, it is a kind of a row, but it's a high row. So if you haven't got one of these machines, you can hold on to a lat pull down, but lean your body back, stick your chest out, arc your back, so you're coming at that angle, similar sort of angle as where I am, where you are targeting your upper lats, but you're also getting a bit of trap involvement. Third set then, 10 repetitions to absolute failure. Strip the weight and punched out another 20 after that 10-second rest, which took about the same amount of time as it did to strip the weight. And then, once we've done the 20, we rested for 20 seconds and punched out another 10 repetitions with the same weight. So the 3 sets there, with multiple of sets within it, drop sets. That's it, we're done. Second exercise here, as you can obviously see, reverse pull down. Again, first set is 10 reps, absolute failure. I did a couple of warm-ups first just to make sure that the back and the bicep tendons are warm, because you get a bit of flexion here. To eradicate a lot of that flexion, remember, you don't have to straighten your arms, especially in a reverse grip. You know, it puts your elbow and your wrist under a little bit of stress. Okay, so now we're going to do 10 repetitions, remember? And then we're going to strip the weight and perform another 10 repetitions. The third set was 10 repetitions to failure, stripped the weight, rested for 20 seconds, did 20 reps, and kept the same weight on there, just rested for 10 seconds, and performed another 10 repetitions with the same weight. So within those 3 sets, we were done. And now we'll go on to a rowing movement now. Okay, so we found this sexy little rowing machine here that I'm going to give it a go. Man, the choice in peak physique here is friggin' awesome. I've got a hammer strength row here I could choose from. But you can use a cable row, you can do a bent over row, you know, at a steep at a right angle, you know, so your back is pretty much parallel to the floor. Anything that targets the trap. So remember, wherever your elbows point, that's pretty much the target area that you're going to be hitting on your back. And then the second set here, did 10 repetitions. Once I'd done the 10 repetitions, I rested for 10 seconds, which took me about the same time to change the weight and re-strap my wrists, and performed another 10 heavy repetitions. Felt very heavy. So now, put the weight back down, do 10 reps, and then rest for 10 seconds and perform 20 reps. Rest for 20 seconds, and then perform another 10 repetitions with the same weight. And that's it for this exercise. Thank fuck. So our last exercise for back is hyperextensions to target the lower back and the erectors, muscles running up either side of the spine. So for the first set here, I'm holding a plate here, which I could go heavier and a little bit faster, use a bit of momentum, like a couple of plates, but I'm using the one, and I'm going very slow and contracting on at the top of the movements, making sure at the top is basically parallel with the floor. It's the second set here. I'll grab hold of that same weight again and do 10 repetitions, then I'll drop it and grab hold of the 10 there and perform 10 repetitions straight after the 10-second rest, remember. Whew. Man, this exercise is really, really tough. Like, I haven't done this exercise for a good 5 months. On the third set, I'll grab the 20 plate again, do 10 repetitions, rest for 10 seconds, and 20 repetitions. So I'm gonna have to just hold no weight there just to try to get to 20, and then rest for 20 seconds, and then punch out another 10 repetitions with no weight. Oh shit, that's back done. Got a hell of a pump there. Really isolated and localized into the lower back and erectors. So that's it, back is done now from top to bottom, left to right, front and back. We're done, we're cooked. So now we got biceps left to do. So bicep tendons are warmed up from some of the rowing movements that we did, so they're in the perfect place to be obliterated. They're conditioned to it. So let's uncondition them and get them to adapt by evolving and growing to the stress that we're about to put them on. Let's fucking go then. Starting with a preacher. I think we did preacher on a different machine in week 1. Week 2 we did a spider curl, and week 3 back to a preacher again, a different machine but still preacher, and it feels good, you know, being able to really isolate the area, because that's more important now, because as we diet down we lose a lot of fullness from lack of glycogen, lack of complex carbohydrates. So it's much harder for us to get a pump now. Normally, you know, like when we did the 12 weeks in India, man, got a pump so easy, straight away, picking up any exercise because it had that much glycogen pumping around the body. Obviously, the carbohydrates hold fluid, so you get a better electrolyte balance. Mineral balance is perfect, you know. We're a little bit off now as we're drastically dieting hard. Still maintaining the muscle though, but losing a lot of fullness and losing a lot of that contraction that goes with it. So that's why I'm going mainly for machines now and areas that will isolate, so I can really feel the contraction within the muscle that I'm trying to focus on, even though I've got little carbs in there. Second set, 10 repetitions, rest for 10, strip it, do another 10. I'm going mainly for machines now and areas that will isolate, so I can really feel the contraction within the muscle that I'm trying to focus on. And I really want to feel every single exercise, because we've only got 4 workouts per body part. The machines coming out on top. Third set now, we'll do 10 and then strip the weight, do 20 reps after a 10-second rest, have 20-second rest and perform 10 repetitions. We don't need much rest period in between now, just a minute, because of a smaller muscle group. Fuck. Okay, that was a little bit heavy for the final set. I went a little bit heavier. My eyes were bigger than my muscles. I had to strip the weights, go lighter, just to get the 10 repetitions out. And then when we rested for 10 seconds, I stripped the weight so we could perform 20. I reached failure at, I think it was like 12. And then I paused, and I got a hell of a pump now. Let's go on to the second now, because we've got to keep it intense. Remember, smaller muscle group, keep pounding the blood in there. All right, so now we're moving on to a barbell free weight exercise, because now we've pre-fatigued on the preacher curl. So now we're it's easier to isolate that area. Like I said, you know, we haven't got much glycogen in our system, so I generally wouldn't start with this exercise until I've got some blood in there. So now I feel good going heavy on this exercise. So I've done a couple of warm-ups, just done 10 repetitions here to failure. Now we'll get ready for the second set, 10 reps to failure, drop the weight, rest for 10 seconds, and do another 10. So did another set there, 10 repetitions to failure with the same weight as we did with the first set. Rested for 10 seconds, stripped the weight and did another 10 repetitions. You'll notice that I don't straighten my arms all the way down on this particular exercise, especially when you're going heavy. It can put your bicep tendon under a little bit of undue stress, so I won't overextend. Back and biceps done now. So now we're going to have our post-workout shake, do our cardio, so it's bumped up now. So we've been doing 40 minutes on our training days. Now we're bumping that up to 45 minutes now this week. And then we're going to be doing 50 minutes on our non-training days. So before you do your cardio later on this evening, you need to do your lower abs and your soleus, the portion of your calves. So how I want you to perform this is do the repetition scheme exactly how we did it on all the exercises today on your seated calf. So you're going to start off with 10 repetitions to failure. Then your second set will be 10 repetitions to failure, strip the weight, and after 10 seconds you'll do another 10 reps. Then on your third set, you'll do 10 repetitions to failure, strip the weight, rest for 10 seconds, do 20 reps, then rest for 20 seconds and do another 10 with that same weight. And every time that you've done a set on the seated calf press, you're immediately going to go onto your abs. So that's a superset, so there's no rest period between the set of your calf press and your abs. So every time that doubt enters your brain, or tiredness or exhaustion, anything that's going to hold you back, just think next week, it's all over. That's what I've got to go towards. It's that sense of urgency now. Let's fucking grab it by the teeth and rip it out, you know, let's go for it. It's the only way that we're going to get the results is by being mentally stronger than the next person if we want to get results that the other person can't, okay? So anyway, I'm going to leave you and love you and get straight into my cardio now. Catch you later.